Happy holidays. Did you know? I learned at the library this week, because it was H is for holiday class, that Hanukkah starts on Christmas Day, I believe, this year. And Kwanzaa starts on the 26th. It's a late Hanukkah, I
was going to say, it starts on the 25th. Yeah. That does sound late.
How do they decide when Hanukkah is?
I have absolutely no idea. I know it's different every year.
Maybe Let's call a friend.
The
Sydney?
moon cycle.
The moon
Sydney.
cycle. Oh, actually, might be.
Sydney Jewish. I don't know. I don't know about Kwanzaa either. Either? Well, anyways, we're going to dedicate this entire episode to get all of our Christmas craziness out of our bodies.
Well, I'm going to keep some for Christmas, because it is the 18th. It is 1 week until Christmas today.
And we're just tomorrow going to finally be able to send our Christmas cards to the people far away.
Around the world.
Because last time we mentioned the Christmas cards, a strike of Canada Post had just gone underway. And so we were completely blocked from mailing our cards, which sucked.
We could have paid $22 a card to mail them through UPS.
Yeah, UPS per card would have cost a minimum $22. We're talking about dozens of cards here.
Yeah.
So fug that.
Fug.
And so we just hoped and prayed that the strike would be over by Christmas.
Imagine
and
if
it
a
was.
Fish and a pug had a baby and it would be a fug.
Wow. Or a fish.
Like a big fish. Let's go to the aquarium. But imagine the noise that thing would make. It would be like...
And we'll bring a pug. Anyway. So, what we're going to get out of the way the serious stuff about Christmas. Because we're parents, remember.
What's the serious stuff?
So let's get our opinions about parenting children at Christmas out.
I think we shouldn't have gotten her as many presents as we have, and I still am going to get her more, because I have an Amazon. I have an Amazon card.
You got the Amazon presents for Birdie?
Card is for Birdie.
Oh my god. What were we talking? Oh yeah, parenting a child at Christmas, specifically Santa Claus.
We talk about Santa Claus. Oh my god, Santa Claus is coming. We show the Christmas movies with Santa Claus. I don't think we should use Santa Claus as any form of fear. Like, if you don't do this, Santa Claus won't, or bull crap like that.
Yeah, I've never liked that.
That's so crazy to me. If she asks, Santa Claus real? I'm going to be like, okay, well, let's talk about that. What does that mean to you, real? What do you think Santa Claus is? I want to know.
You want to engage her in the conversation.
Yeah, I don't want to lie to her, but I want to tell her that I believe in the spirit and love of Santa Claus.
But what does that mean? Believe in the spirit and love of Santa Claus?
I don't know.
You don't believe Santa Claus is a person who has magical properties outside of this realm.
I don't want to say that Santa Claus is not real. I don't ever want to say that, because I don't believe that. I think Santa Claus is very real. Do I think that it's like the Santa Claus where there's a guy... You know how we were talking about Bigfoot?
Yeah. You're open to the idea of Santa Claus.
I would like to believe in Santa Claus. You know how some people believe in God? I just believe in Santa Claus the way people believe in God. I don't have to see him to know that he's real.
That is a very interesting and unique perspective.
And I believe in what he represents.
I don't. But what I believe in is the spirit of Christmas, which is that time of year which just compels your soul to just feel the joy and the kindness and give gifts. And again, it goes back to what you taught me about what Christmas could be, which is focusing on giving instead of receiving. For like the first 20 years of my life, it was like, what am I going to get for Christmas? And since meeting you and your values towards Christmas, it's completely 180'd. And now I think, oh, what can I get so-and-so? What can I get my mom? What can I get Jen? What can I get Betty?
And I know you mean this, but you're not saying it's also not about what you can get. It's about what you can make or what you can write or what you can say. Yeah. It's like, how can I bring joy to this
Sorry,
person?
I said the word get, but I meant give.
I know you did. Yeah,
give. Like, for example, I recently gave Alyssa a gift. I considered half the gift to be the card that I wrote, because I just wrote a very meaningful handwritten card to her, and I did a little arts and crafts. And so that's what I believe in terms of Christmas time, is just that feeling of it's the end of the year. Let's celebrate this year.
Let's tell people how grateful we are for them.
Yeah, so, and like you said, I also agree about engaging Betty, the child, in the conversation of Santa Claus. Like, what do you think, Betty? We're not saying to her, this is Santa Claus, this is what it is. We're going to say, well...
And you can choose
yeah,
how to
like,
believe in him or not.
this is what we were told. Like, Santa Claus is a guy who brings presents. What do you think, Betty? And see what she has to say.
I'm so excited for this year because last year she was Lumpy Lumperson. And
she was just a potato.
This year, she will not really know what's going on, but she'll be like, wow, this is magical, I think. So she was almost as old as possible for her first Christmas.
Yeah, she was basically a year old for her first Christmas, which was cool. But still, she was like, bleh. But now she's going to be almost 2
I didn't
for
even
her
think she had a
second
stocking
Christmas.
last year. I was trying to remember. I don't think she
No,
did.
she probably did, right? We gave her little things.
I don't think we gave her a stocking.
I think I gave her some batteries to play with and I think a pair of scissors.
The only presents I got her were the Busy Betty. Or maybe that was for her birthday. I don't even see.
So she, like you said, she's going to be just aware enough where she gets a new toy and she's like, wow. And she could just be pleased with that for the rest of the day. But it's like, no, immediately here's another toy and another toy. And so I think you and I collectively have gotten her like a dozen or so things, right?
Yeah.
For the one day. Her head's going to explode.
Yeah. I'm excited this weekend we're going to let her watch Rudolph the Claymation, as much of it as
we're going to
can.
make a special Christmas exception and we're all together going to watch.
And
Is it 30 minutes or 40 minutes or
Becca
something?
said it was an hour. She said that they're going to let Max watch it too. They said they let him watch the Charlie Brown special, and that's only like 25 minutes. So maybe we should try that one too, although it's kind of depressing, the Charlie Brown one. But she won't know.
Yeah, the Rudolph one, although it's got some scary parts like that abominable snowman.
The abominable snowman.
It's like, wee.
That's Q's favorite.
Also, the reindeer racism is problematic. But I think she'll enjoy it all in all.
Yeah.
Speaking of Christmas movies, let's get right into it, Jen.
Let's do this.
So, I want to ask you, and you can ask me, what are your top 5 all-time favorite Christmas movies?
Yeah. Top 5. I don't know if I can rank them.
Let me just clarify. Jen and I are huge Christmas fans in general, and therefore we watch a lot of Christmas movies.
I have a list of 57.
A lot of times. Yeah. Oh my God.
Did you not know that?
I didn't know it was 57.
Well, I keep adding all these Lindsay Lohan specials. It's like three at Christmas she comes out with. Okay,
we'll
my
be talking
top 5.
about that one very soon.
My top 5, not in any particular order. So Christmas Vacation has to be there. Home Alone, Elf, the Jim Carrey Grinch, and I feel like I'm definitely forgetting an obvious one here. I do love the Santa Claus, but if I can only pick 5.
Christmas with the Cranks. Don't say Christmas with the Cranks. Don't say Christmas.
Okay, so Dan has this. Actually, everybody hates Christmas with the Cranks. It's not just Dan. But Love Actually and The Holiday. Can I do a top 10?
Is The Holiday really that high up for you?
I just watched The Holiday again 2 days ago. Yesterday.
Okay. Well, okay.
How dare you?
Well, so those are your top 6 then, if you can't choose between Love Actually and The Holiday.
Elf, Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, The Grinch, Love Actually, The Holiday, Christmas with the Cranks are all in my top. But you know what? I love so many more than that. I love...
Yeah, give some
I
honorable
love Just
mentions.
Friends. I love Bad Moms Christmas. I love The Night Before. I love Die Hard.
Oh, yeah.
I love Daddy's Home too. I know you also hate that one, but come on. The Muppet Christmas Carol is just amazing. Scrooged is wonderful. We always watch It's a Wonderful Life on Christmas Eve, and that is very special, and I would never watch it any other day. So,
any random B movies in there? Or?
I really love Single All the Way. It makes me happy.
Oh, yeah,
Becca's
that is a
never
nice
seen
movie.
it.
That's such a nice, wholesome little movie.
I told her about it.
We'll
And
talk
Jennifer
about
Coolidge.
that.
How can you?
Do you know these gays?
And what else? I watched Hot Frosty this year as a new one with Gretchen Wieners from Mean Girls, and it was so bad, but I loved it. And the guy
She's
from
like
Schitt's
the
Creek,
queen of Hallmark,
apparently,
isn't she?
Yeah. The Santa Claus, there's a Santa Claus 2. There's Home Alone 2. There's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Honestly, I've never been the biggest fan of that. I know people go crazy over that movie. I was never a huge fan of it. I like it.
Me.
Office Christmas Party, I think, is hilarious. I love that one.
That's a nice one.
I don't like the Polar Express. So depressing. I'm sorry. Great job, Tom Hanks, but I'm over it. A Christmas Story, hate it. Think it's so boring and stupid. Becca will kill me. This is one of her favorite movies. And I
That's
watched
like
it this year.
probably the biggest cult Christmas
Yeah.
movie.
And I watched it this year for her. I hadn't seen it in a while because I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I still don't like it.
Wow.
It is very boring. You didn't even want to watch it this year. You were like, yeah, watch it without me.
Yeah, I guess because I probably watched it once back in the day. And then when you said Becca loved it and you didn't care about it, we watched it together again. This was a few years ago. And again, I was like, okay, it didn't leave an impression on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Noel, but not that much. Like, I watch it once a year.
Mm-hmm.
4 Christmases I'll watch once a year. I think it's fun.
So you are going through the whole list right now.
I'm just picking some out.
All right.
Arthur Christmas is fine. Like, you put it on in the background for me. I was doing something and you put it on, and that's fine. Last Holiday, that one's nice, but again, only a once a Christmas. I'm not really into the classics like Rudolph, Charlie Brown, but I'll watch them, just to watch them. And then newer ones like Christmas Chronicles, wasn't hugely into it. I'll watch it maybe. The Family Stone, that one I like, but it's quite depressing. So dumb. It's like, we watched A Very Merry Christmas again this year, which is fun. Yeah.
So that's it, huh? Not that many. So my list is okay. So my top 5. So first of all, my all-time favorite movie is It's a Wonderful Life. I think I have only ever watched it on Christmas Eve. Like, literally, the first time my parents showed it to me was on Christmas Eve.
How old were you?
And then probably like 16.
Oh, it wasn't a childhood thing.
No, I think it was like a teenager.
Did you
16.
put Clue in this?
Of course.
Good.
Okay. And so I've watched it every single Christmas Eve since then. So over 10 years. And it is just my absolute, I think it's a perfect movie in every way, shape, or form.
Do you remember Uncle Al, Dan's uncle, this one year, we're watching it, and he goes, this is a weird version. This is a long version of this movie. And we're like, there's only one version. This is it. No, he was convinced that we were watching an extended cut.
It was so interesting how he was like, I forget what scene we were like halfway through the movie.
It
he was
a
like,
long movie.
It's only like 2 hours. Is this some extended director's cut? I'm like, it's from 1946.
There were no.
But it was funny how he was so confused.
Yeah.
Like, really? Anyway. Yeah, it's my all-time favorite. So the point is, I'm going to exclude it from this particular list because it's just so high above everything else.
Well, it's your number 1.
It's my number 1 of all time. So
it's your number 1 Christmas movie.
No, but I want to give due to the more specific Christmas season ones, you know? Anyway, I'm just trying to be a little kind and say, okay, my top 5 are as follows. Christmas Vacation, The Muppets Christmas Carol, Home Alone, The Night Before,
Oh, wow.
Love Actually.
So the Grinch and Elf aren't even there.
The Grinch and Elf are right up against, they got their ears pressed against the door. They are right there. But those are my top 5, excluding my number 1 of all time, which happens to be a Christmas movie.
So you cheated and made it 6.
Just like you.
Oh, no, I made it like 20.
So, first of all, we both had Christmas Vacation on there.
Oh, yeah. Christmas Vacation is probably my number 1 as well, Dan.
Can we agree that's probably the greatest Christmas movie?
I think that it is the most entertaining and the funniest.
That's certainly true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I say it's the greatest? No. Because I think there are movies like It's a Wonderful Life. Also, this year I rewatched White Christmas for the second time, which is a beautiful movie.
Well, when I say greatest, I don't mean it happens to be a Christmas movie and it's the greatest movie that's Christmas. It's the greatest Christmas movie.
It's just that I think my opinion differs from what great film is, you know? So,
okay.
Yeah. I think it is one of the best Christmas movies for sure.
Every single scene of that film is not just hilarious, but it's Christmas.
Yep.
It's...
They cover all the bases.
Exactly. You said it perfectly. They cover all the bases of Christmas in every single scene.
So good. And everybody in it is so good.
And the premise itself is like this man is attempting to just have
the perfect... relatable.
Exactly. The perfect, wholesome family Christmas, and everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
They invite the in-laws. That sucks. He tries to decorate the house. That sucks. He, like everything.
Shopping,
getting the tree,
sucks.
That doesn't work out.
Surprise family.
The dinner.
Sucks.
Everything.
Everything is great. The neighbors.
Yeah,
amazing.
the
Don't
neighbors,
suck it all.
the neighbors are just such a random, awesome addition
Oh,
because
it's
they're
so
like
good.
anti-Christmas. They have nothing with
Julia
Christmas
Louise
about
fucking
them.
Dreyfus. I can't.
Why is the carpet all wet, Todd?
I don't know, Margot. Again, relatable.
Yeah, so I think that movie is probably the best Christmas movie.
Yeah.
What do you think is probably the best Christmas movie?
No, I think it's that. I think that is my number one as well because it is just so entertaining
Yeah.
and it's nostalgic for me because I grew up with that movie, which I think makes a huge difference for people around Christmas if they grew up with a movie. And I think that's back on A Christmas Story.
Continuing on where we relate in our favorites list, Home Alone.
You know, Home Alone used to be my number one.
Written by the same guy, John Hughes.
Yeah, Home Alone used to be my number one. You know what? Lately, it has just been knocked down the list a little bit. And I think it's because it's just a little bit sad for me. Like, I think it's now that I have a kid and it's thinking about leaving your child behind and the horror and then whatever Kevin's feeling. Like, all of it makes me a little bit more sad now than whereas before when you were a kid, you're like, this is awesome. This kid is so cool and badass. But now
Yeah.
it is a little bit alarming. So it's not that I don't like it. It's definitely still up there. But like for me, I would rather watch Love Actually, Elf, The Grinch. Although The Grinch also has a little bit of sadness with me now because I know what a horrible process it was for Jim Carrey to play the Grinch.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
So that one's down a little bit too. But, you know, I know that nobody likes Christmas with the Cranks, and I know that that's the movie I've been watching the most of, but it just makes me happy, and it's so easy to have on in the background because it's so silly. And Dan, that scene where Tim Allen is chewing on those peaches after having Botox and they're just falling out of his mouth, I am sorry, but that is hilarious.
Okay, buddy.
Goose Rabba.
Watching movies in the past few weeks, I've been watching them with a different eye, thinking, okay, what are some
Critical eye.
weird, quirky things here? So in Home Alone, the parents just never find out about the robbers at all.
I know.
Like, sure, they were picked up at the neighbors across the street.
Yeah, they'll hear about that.
Yeah, so like the neighbors, they hear about that, but then also all the shit that went down in their house with the booby traps and the feathers.
Also,
and the
if you're the
glue
neighbor,
and
Marley, you'd think,
he would have something to say
you
as
know
well.
what? Here's something. Marley just drops Kevin off back at his house alone. Doesn't check in with the parents.
Yo,
Doesn't
that's right.
realize he's leaving this child home alone.
When they talk in church together.
If I were this kid's neighbor, I
Why
would
didn't he
stay with
question
him.
that?
I would stay with him.
Wait a minute, they talk in church together.
Yeah, and he never asks him why
Why
he's
doesn't
alone.
he? I've never thought this. Why doesn't he ask him why he's all alone? He's a small child.
And when he literally saves him from burglars who are about to kill him, he just puts him back in his house
He's
all by
like, let's
himself.
get you home. And it's like, okay.
And he's not like, hey, maybe we should talk to your parents about how you almost just died. He just
Wow, I
drops
never-
him off at home.
That is a huge plot hole that I've never realized before.
Unless Old Man Marley really is horrible and he's planning to kill Kevin. But then the family comes
Because the reason we're scrutinizing is because then in Home Alone 2, again, it's never mentioned that there were robbers. Just the fact that he was home alone and they're like, oh, what'd you get up to? He's like, oh, stuff. By the way, I really am iffy with Home Alone 2.
What?
Yeah.
What?
See, it's the thing with sequels.
I don't love it.
It turns everything up to an 11 really aggressively. Like the booby trap stuff.
Okay, the booby trap stuff is so stupid. Like, it's so unrealistic. They would have
Yeah.
died so many times. Those bricks at the very beginning to the head from that height, I can't.
Yeah, but you know what I do like about it? And also the fact that there's the same, like, outsider character with the pigeon lady. Like, she's the Old Man Marley in
Right.
the second movie, and
Yeah.
it's like the same thing. But Tim Curry in that movie is...
And fucking Rob Schneider.
Have a lovely day.
That was good. That was so good.
He's like,
I
and your
loved
car
him.
is outside with your own pizza. Just every moment of him in that movie is wonderful.
That's how you take a tiny role and just make it all about you.
You steal the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Home Alone 2 is a hot mess, but I'll watch it for Tim Curry.
And Donald Trump's in it, so yikes.
Down the hall and to the left. Yeah, that's so awkward now. And Home Alone 3,
Scarlett, though.
yeah, Scarlett Johansson as the older sister is like something else. Well, at the time when I was a little
Past
kid.
it. We're gonna breeze past it. It's like me with Jeremy Sumter. And
Okay,
Peter Pan.
I think, did you have The Night Before in your top 6? Or you
No,
you
I
gave it an
do love
honorable
that
mention?
movie. Yeah,
That's
it's not
probably the youngest film that we love. The
Yes.
Christmas movie that we love.
2015. Although when was Office Christmas Party?
Office Christmas Party is 2016.
See, I love that one too.
Yeah, anyway, The Night Before, it's so great. I love the story where it's 3 best friends having one last Christmas hurrah before they move on with their lives. Muppets Christmas we both had, I think.
No, that's not on my top, but I respect that.
See, the
it's in your
problem is
top.
you mentioned all of them. So I'm thinking...
It's not a problem. Like,
Remind me of your top 5, please. Love Actually was one.
Yeah.
Here we
Home
go.
Alone,
Love
The
Actually.
Grinch, Elf.
Now, Love Actually,
That's a film.
that is a movie and a half. It started a whole genre that failed because it was the only one that got it right.
Yeah, because then they did like Valentine's Day and all that stuff, right?
Because this is British, and then America was like, "Gimme,"
too.
and they did Valentine's Day and New Year's
Yeah,
Day or
something like
something,
that.
and it was like, "No, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You can't
don't
just
get it.
throw A-list
Don't
actors at a
get
stupid
it.
plot."
Yeah. Yeah, Love Actually is great. Although I know a lot of people that hate Love Actually, which I think is so funny. Like somebody I saw recently, or maybe it wasn't somebody that I knew, I was like a meme or a tweet or something, but somebody said Love Actually is all about falling in love with people based on their looks. And I was like, not really. I was like, the guy and the porn stand-ins, they only liked each other because they had a connection.
One
It
of the
wasn't about
best
looks.
relationships in that movie
Yeah,
are these two
that wasn't about looks.
sex scene stand-ins.
Like, okay, the guy and the maid who can't even speak to each other, I think it's cute. But yeah, I guess that's about looks. And then the prime minister and the girl, I mean, I don't know, they have chemistry, but I guess it's about looks. But my favorite relationship in that entire movie is Liam Neeson and the stepson.
Oh my God, that's probably one of the greatest relationships in movie
It is
history.
amazing.
Because he is just such a pure... I can't even process words. It's like
cry?
he's just the best father
Yeah.
you could be. All he cares about is his stepson's well-being.
And when he calls him dad.
Oh, at the end when he calls him dad. Okay, here we go.
I'm fine. Hey, I've never cried on the podcast yet.
But just because it's like classic British humor, it's a little naughty, it's a little cheeky, and
There's so many different kinds of love.
There's so many different kinds of love, and all the acting. Emma Thompson's performance in that one
Joni
scene.
Mitchell song, yeah.
Oh my God. And Hugh Grant is charming and great as always.
Yeah.
Alan Rickman, although it's not his biggest role of all time,
And
he's
you hate
great.
him, yeah. I mean, the character, not him, of course. Oh my God.
Colin Firth.
Adorable.
And yeah. Who do you think is the actor that is like the most underwhelming? Like, oh, they're great, but in this movie it's like, oh.
I'm sorry, but I don't like Keira Knightley in general. You know this. So I'm surprised you didn't just know that. She was 18.
She was 17.
Right, when they filmed.
In the movie, her storyline is she's a newlywed. She's 17 when they film this. And she's
Not even legal.
She has the same body fat index as a broom. And it's like, oh my God.
And apparently in that scene where she goes over to find the video at his house, she's wearing a hat because she had a big pimple.
That's right. She was a literal teenager with acne.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Also, can we talk about the worst part of the movie
that
is
guy.
that love triangle.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Like, hello, communication.
So the famous scene where he goes to the house, knocks on the door, and he has the cards saying the things. She answers the door, and the first card says, "Say it's carol singers," so the husband, Chiwetel Ejiofor, doesn't get up. What was his plan if Chiwetel was the one who answered the fucking door?
So true.
He's holding all these
I've
massive
never
cue
thought
cards.
about that. Also, just
What-
that
what-
whole scene, that's your best friend's wife.
Yeah, it's like
He's
fucking
supposed to be your best friend.
suck it up and move on.
And then the wife goes and kisses him. And I'm like, did they never tell him about this? Because that is so
Look,
fucked up.
we love this movie, actually, but
I
it
do.
has flaws.
Yeah.
Especially this particular love triangle subplot.
If
It's
that
just
part was
so
gone,
unhealthy. If it was gone, it'd be a much, well, not much
be
better, but
great.
it would be better. Just the way he just can't get over himself and can't just move on. He does the cue card thing where it's like, I have feelings for you. It's like, just say it to her face. And then she
What a
chases him
baby.
down and gives him a kiss of like condolence. And I'm like, you just kissed another man? You're
now.
17?
Isn't that what he says? Enough now.
I agree. Liam Neeson and his stepson, best relationship in the movie.
Oh, then there's Laura and the model.
Laura Linney.
Nerd. The nerdy model that's always in the gym, apparently, because look at him.
Oh, yeah. What's the stupid name they give that incredibly handsome man? Carl?
Carl.
Imagine.
There's no way
I can't even say
Carl.
it. It's like he has an 8-pack.
He
has hair like silken spaghetti. And his name's Carl in the movie.
Carl.
And now the Grinch.
Oh, please.
I feel like you mentioned earlier.
Poor Jim Carrey.
He apparently
felt it was torture to be put into
well,
that
here's
costume.
the fact. He would spend about 8 hours. Think of it this way. 8 hours a day. So the average workday for us normal mortals is about 8 hours. Mm-hmm. He would be in the makeup chair for 8 hours and then do a full day shoot.
Yeah.
That's a good reason to be paid millions of dollars, in my opinion.
Oh, dear.
But anyway, he did that like 100 times or something. He said in an interview once he had to do it 100 times.
I was watching an interview of the guy who directed it, Ron Howard.
Yeah.
And he said one day to like show Jim how much he appreciated him, he got into the Grinch costume. And he was like, it was suffocating.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
And he said he didn't even, they showed pictures. He didn't even do the contact lenses, which was one of Jim Carrey's like most hated parts.
Yeah, his yellow eyes, yeah.
He didn't even do that.
Wow.
But yeah, he said it was suffocating in there.
And
so,
he won the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a musical or comedy or whatever.
Does he have an
it's
Oscar?
Called. No, he's never been nominated.
Wow.
That's a whole can of worms, Jed.
Wow.
Hashtag
Jim,
Truman Show
Jim,
justice.
Jim.
Hashtag Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind justice.
Jim,
but anyway,
Jim.
he is just apex of everything in this movie. He is the reason this movie works.
Of course.
I think it won the Oscar for makeup and was at least nominated for production design.
What about costumes?
I think that as well.
Yeah.
I know it won makeup, but it's a very great looking movie.
Oh yeah, it's like they built an entire world.
It was the first movie to bring Dr. Seuss's world to real life.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was the first live action Dr. Seuss, as far as I know.
Wow. I was telling my massage therapist today when we were talking about the Grinch, I was like, I have the heart tattoo. And he's like, what? And I was like, how have you not seen it? You're my massage therapist. And then I realized it's right.
You have the little shriveled heart
it's almost my
on
butt
your hip.
And he does that part over a sheet because he's like a gentleman. So I was
very
like,
good.
look, bro. And he's like, oh. He was also like, why do you keep saying bro? And I was like, have you ever seen Ghost Adventures? And he's like, no. And I was like, you wouldn't get it.
Bro, what was that? But yeah, the Grinch, Jim Carrey, Jim Carrey's the movie.
Yeah. Oh,
but
I haven't seen the new Benedict Cumberbatch animated.
I've not.
I don't think I will.
Care. It's.
We should watch the original animated. It's cute.
Yeah, I don't think we watched it last year.
We could show that one to Betty. That one's like 40 minutes, I think, 45. Yeah. Beck and I like to talk about the time in university. It was first year university around Christmas, so we'd only known each other a couple months. We decided to watch that original cartoon Grinch, which is like 45 minutes, and take a shot of sourpuss every time we saw the Grinch.
And how are you sitting here
We
today?
were just constantly, I'm pretty sure that we threw up.
Pretty sure?
It was sourpuss, Dan.
I'm pretty sure you don't have a liver anymore.
It was wild.
It's called the Grinch.
That's what university's for, you know?
Again, I did some nitpicking with watching the Grinch. Cindy Lou Who has terrible parents.
Oh, yeah.
How many times does she fuck off out of town?
Her dad
She goes up a mountain multiple times, and her parents are nowhere to be seen.
Her dad stands up for her in the end, at least.
That's a sweet moment. That's cute. But listen, she goes up to Mount Crumpet.
How old do you think she's? Like 8? Did they say? They
maximum 10, like 8 years old. Yeah. She goes up Mount Crumpet multiple times in this movie alone to talk to this
monster
Grinch.
Stranger.
And there's never a moment of her parents being like,
Where is she?
Where is she? I feel like there might have been an off-camera conversation like, Cindy, we noticed you've disappeared for several hours at a time these past couple weeks. But like, we don't get that.
Her parents were neglectful is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Then you mentioned the dad's epiphany at the end where he's like, Christmas isn't about the gifts. My problem is, like, where does that come from? I know I'm being a movie snob right now, but it's like there should have been a predetermined motivation for him to get there.
Okay.
It's like it could have been anybody who said that. It
Yeah.
just happened to be him.
Right.
Because there was no anyway, that's my little film nerd rant about that.
I feel you.
But the other one is...
We should have had Jamie as a guest star on this episode.
Oh, Jamie and I would go off. So we can all agree the Grinch had a point. Because...
You talking about his head? What you talking about?
So his point was that the Who's only cared about gifts.
And stuff, and that they would just throw it away like garbage. They were materialistic.
Yeah, and the Grinch, that's what the Grinch hated.
But, what are you going to tell us? How
No,
he cared
but.
about what he was going to wear?
No, but. It's like he had a point. It's like
Oh,
Christmas.
he had a point.
Christmas is stupid because this is what they think of Christmas.
Yeah, and so he changed it.
Yeah.
By taking everything away.
But then the Who's are okay with everything being gone. Because, like, the little tiny problem with the movie is the whole movie, all the Who's in Whoville are obsessed with gifts and shopping and presents and that. In the original animated movie, they're not as obsessive about the gifts and all that. It's like the normal kind of Christmas.
Right.
And the Grinch happens to not see the other side of it. In this adaptation, all the Whovilles, there's only the one side. So I'm nitpicking here. But anyway, I feel like the Grinch had a point. The other thing is, at the very end of the Grinch, when Cindy Lou Who goes up to get the Grinch for Christmas morning, he's not there. She climbs up to the top of the gift-filled sleigh. And then the Grinch, he's going to let it fall off the edge. He's like, oh, well, they're just presents. She's up there. He's like, oh, Cindy Lou.
Because he loves her.
So he's pulling it. He lifts it up. He saves her. I'm thinking, couldn't she just jump down?
No.
Couldn't she just jump down?
He could fall off the mountain.
But, like, into his arms. If he has the strength to lift that sleigh, couldn't he have the strength to just catch a small child?
He may have the strength, but maybe not the hand-eye coordination.
It just, the last time I watched it the other day, it bugged me when I realized that. I'm like, she could just jump down.
Doesn't bother me.
Again, just nitpicking for the sake of it. Also, what is the deal with those two old ladies?
Yeah, I'm like, why don't they just call a lesbian?
You brought up a very interesting thing that we almost forgot to bring up.
What's that?
The keys.
Got the keys. Oh, yeah, the swingers party. It really seemed like the two ladies were having a swingers party when everyone was putting their keys in the
we
fishbowl.
watched this the other day. And
You had never heard of that.
No, it's the scene where it's like the Grinch flashback to when his little bassinet comes flying down. It lands at the old lady's front door. But they're inside having a big Christmas party, and you see everybody dropping their car keys into a bowl.
And Dan, innocent little boy as he is.
I always thought it's like, oh, it's because they're all drinking and they're not driving, so they're collecting everyone's car keys because they're all drunk.
But they were being so
But
sneaky
Jen
and funny
informed
about
me.
it. And I remembered, I don't know why I know this, but you would put your keys in a bowl and then pick out a random set of keys, and that's who you would like go home with, or that's who you would hook up with, is the person whose keys you got.
Wow.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Well, I'm never watching that movie the same way again.
Wow. Oh my God. So also speaking of my massage therapist in the Grinch today, I go, yeah, and Christine Baranski, and he goes, who's that? And I was like, oh. And I was like, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for you that you don't know who Christine Baranski is.
Betty. Hi. Also, we realized one of the two women, Christine Baranski and Molly Shannon, their first names in the movie are Betty
and May.
Or Martha May.
Yeah, I was going to say
so it's like Betty and Martha May. Betty May.
Yeah.
And our daughter's name Betty May.
And Becca's son's name is Max. The dog. Now we just need someone to have a kid named the Grinch.
Let's talk about Elf.
Let's.
Because
I love Elf.
It was not in my top 5/6.
Yeah, it was
but
in mine.
It wasn't yours?
Yeah, it's in mine. I love Elf so much. And
who gives a better performance, respectively? Will Ferrell as the Elf or Jim Carrey as the Grinch?
Jim Carrey.
Oh.
I mean, obviously, Dan. Is that even a question? That's like comparing apples and oranges.
Well, I mean, I was prepared to think about it for a hot second.
Not at all. No, Jim Carrey is a fucking genius. Like, he is a masterclass as the Grinch.
Fair enough, yeah.
Will Ferrell is adorable and innocent and perfect for that role in every way.
You know
but
what?
He is not what Jim Carrey is.
I feel like there may have been a very select few other actors who could have possibly pulled off Elf. Nobody could have done what Jim Carrey did.
No.
Period. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you now.
Yeah.
But they're both such high-level performances. And I love this fact. Elf and Old School were released in the same year.
Oh my God, so funny. And do you remember watching, I want to recommend to whoever's listening, if you haven't, to watch Movies That Made Us, because they did an episode on Elf and Home Alone.
Right, on Netflix they have this series called Movies That Made Us, but then they
Yeah.
had specifically Christmas movies that made us.
Yeah.
There were these just 30-minute,
But they interview people
fast-paced
and you find out
documentaries,
behind the scenes stuff.
like how they were made and put
Very
together.
interesting.
Yeah, they did one for Home Alone, Die Hard, Elf,
Yeah.
and the normal ones they did for Alien and Terminator. And but anyway, yeah. So Elf is it was like the first new like instant Christmas classic for a long time. Because before that, maybe Home Alone. Home Alone was the highest grossing comedy of all time when it was released.
Wow.
I think it held the title for several years.
Wow.
Yeah, like
My
that's
first
how
Google of the
that's how
podcast.
popular it was at the time. But anyway, yeah, Elf, similar to Christmas Vacation, where virtually every single scene is iconic and full of Christmas and full of hilarity, and it's just great. And yeah, Will Ferrell doesn't really hold a candle to Jim Carrey, but I still think he gives a perfect performance as the elf. And Jen, she's making a lot of faces at her phone right now. What are you finding, dear?
It looks like Home Alone was the highest grossing until Men in Black in 1997.
Comedy movie?
Yeah, these are the highest grossing comedy movies.
Wow, so it was the highest
At
grossing
$5.89.
comedy movie for 7 years until Men in Black. Wow.
And then it looks like nothing beat that until Men in Black 3 in 2012.
Really?
What? That's
Wait,
crazy.
Bridesmaids didn't kick that out the door?
Bridesmaids 2011. No, Bridesmaids was 306.
How much was Men in Black 3?
624.
Jesus. And what's the highest grossing one now?
Gross. Barbie.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Barbie, and then Deadpool and Wolverine. And then
here we
Hi
go.
Mom.
Hi, Mom?
Hi, comma, Mom in 2021. What the fuck is that?
What is that?
It's Chinese.
Oh, okay. They got a lot of people over there, so that makes sense.
They got a lot of people over there. So this is the top 5. Barbie, Deadpool, and Wolverine. Hi Mom, Deadpool 2, and Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds is 3. Deadpool is 3 of the top 5. And then it was Detective Chinatown 3. And then Men in Black 3 is number 7, and Men in Black is number 8.
I'm sorry, you just said Detective Chinatown 3?
Yep.
I need to watch whatever that is.
And then Men in Black 3, and then Men in Black, then The Hangover 2, and then The Mermaid, and then Ted, and then Detective
The
Chinatown
Mermaid.
2, and then Meet the Fockers.
I know The Mermaid. You would
Bruce
not
Almighty's
enjoy
up
that
there.
movie.
Wow, this is a fun list.
Well, I just want to give a shout out to Muppets Christmas Carol because, as far as I'm concerned, it may be actually the most faithful adaptation of the source material.
They even go word for word some of the time.
It hardly changes the dialogue. It hardly
And
changes.
it's also so funny.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
so
moving.
faithful and it's so funny. And Sir
Caine is
Michael
just
Caine, don't even get me
amazing.
started on that man. Perfect Scrooge. And it's not like hilariously funny. It's just the Muppets funny.
It
It's
is
just
funny.
like goofy funny and cool funny. And it's very well paced with the context of like a serious story.
Yeah,
They're not trying to shove humor down your
it's
throats.
really good.
Also, the original music.
Yeah, the songs are great.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
That one's stuck in my head all the time. I mean, I don't know the words, but
Wherever you find love, it feels like Christmas.
so good.
That and Scrooged with Bill
Yes.
Murray are my
Great.
favorite Christmas Carol adaptations.
I think they're the only ones that I've seen. I
And
never
they're
saw
the
Jim
only
Carrey's.
ones you really do need to see.
I've never saw Jim Carrey's Christmas Carol.
I did once and it was fine.
The one
It was
your
just
mom
like
was
Polar
talking
Express again, where it was like,
about. Yeah, the one your mom was talking about. She really wants me to see. Is that the original Christmas Carol?
Oh yeah, like the first big movie adaptation from the 50s. It's very faithful and it's really great. But because it was bogged down by the times in terms of visual effects, it's still great. Like the guy, I forget his name, Alistair something, he does a great job. So yeah, that's worth watching. All right, so that was our big Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Maybe let's just end with one last question, Jen. What is the one thing about Christmas that is your favorite?
The Christmas feeling that I get that reminds me of when I was a kid. Every once in a while it'll creep in, usually in November, sometimes even in October I'll feel it, where all of a sudden I just remember the magic of Christmas and it hits me like a feeling, and it's like full of infinite possibilities. It's the only way I can describe it.
I was going to say Christmas scented bath soaps.
Oh, those are nice too.
Okay, sign my podcast.
Sign my podcast.
Bye.